I'm Stephanie Lane, and I am giving a speech on my first time hunting. Okay. We all have passions. We all have something that calms us, energizes us, gets us motivated, and makes us who we are. For me, that is hunting. It is on my mind every day and influences many decisions I make. Hunting is not just a hobby for me. It is a way of life, and I have my dad to thank for that. I still remember my first time in the woods. I was 5. I remember the restless night before, anticipating the morning ahead of me. I was duck hunting. This was my chance to become one of the guys. With very little sleep, the big day was finally here. I smiled ear to ear as my mom helped dress me head to toe in my very own camouflage. It was my cousin's hand-me-down, but it didn't matter to me. It was mine now, all mine. I remember the smell of coffee my mom had ready for my dad, just as she still has it ready for us every morning before a hunt. I waited eagerly for my dad to come down the stairs, ready to start our adventure. He had a look of surprise when he walked down to me already fully dressed and full of energy. We sat in the kitchen, waiting for my uncles, while my dad sipped his coffee. When my uncles pulled up, we were on our way. The air was cool and refreshing as we got out of the truck. The morning was so dark you could hardly see your own hand in front of your face, and the woods echoed with the sound of ducks calling. We walked through the black timber to a marsh area that looked both eerie and beautiful. Wide-eyed and giddy, I sat beside my dad on the bank. As the sun slowly began to shine through the trees, the duck calls quieted. My dad motions for me to cover my face, or cover my ears. Then very gracefully from the sky, ducks began to float down toward the water. But their landing was interrupted when my dad and uncles began to fire. Even through my hands, the 3 guns sounded more like a battlefield as they lit up the timber. The duck's graceful glide turned into a plummeting fall into the marsh. The sky was empty. My dad walked out into the water to pick up the kills. As he was about to grab one of the ducks, it began flopping in the water. All of a sudden, all eyes were on me. My dad looked up from the flopping duck and stared at me with caution. He looked over to my uncles, at me again, and then snapped the neck of the duck. My dad's eyes instantly shot back at me, and a smile comes across his face when he sees that my expression never changed from my wide-eyed grin. After that unforgettable day, I knew my life would never be the same. When my dad tells a story of my first hunt, he always says he was certain that he ruined me for life when he snapped that duck's neck. But it never fazed me. I was just so thrilled to join my dad in one of his favorite things. Who would have thought it would enrich my life so much? Hunting not only changed and shaped my life, it is my life. I would not be who I am now without it. Someday I hope to pass on the passion that I hold so dear to my heart of hunting and conservation to my children. Maybe one day they'll have their own story to tell. I was going like this a lot.